the TCI Sports High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight from Troy High School, it's the Troy Athens Redhawks taking on the Troy Colts. Hello everyone, Dave Zorn along with Joe Abramson here at Troy High School, where today the undefeated Troy Colts take on the Athens Redhawks for the Battle of Troy, and it's always a great contest, Joe.
Oh, without a doubt, and for Troy, ranked about third in the state right now in Class AA, they've got to come up with a win to ensure a playoff spot, plus you want to go in with that undefeated streak still going with everything at your best. You don't want to go in on a low note. On Athens' side, their seniors know it's the last game of their high school career. They want to beat the crosstown rival in their final game. Big key today is probably the running backs. You got to look for Brent McDonald at Athens, E.J. Howell over at Troy, along with Garrett Gould. It's cold and it's windy, so passing and kicking should be a problem out here.
Okay, we'll be back with the kickoff to today's game right after these messages. The Battle of Troy up next. Oakland Press Perspective with Neil Monroe is an informative talk show that discusses issues often overlooked by broadcast stations. Neil Monroe, the editor of the Oakland Press newspaper, will keep you abreast on hot topics, events, and issues taking place in Oakland County. So for news you can use, join Neil Monroe every week on the Oakland Press Perspective, Friday night at 8:30 on TCI 63. Troy High School and the TCI Sports Game of the Week. That's where we are this week for the Battle of Troy. As we wind up the 1993 season, let's take a look at how far these teams have come this year. 4-3 for Athens in the conference, 4-4 overall. The Troy Colts undefeated, 7-0 in the conference, 8-0 overall, and a great season for them. They played consistently and they've gotten a lot better as the season has progressed. Let's take a look at the SMA overall. 7-0 for Troy, 8-0. They sit up top above Kimball, and we saw that Kimball game here. For Athens, they have a tough time of it. 4-4 overall, 4-3 in the conference, and that's where they stand. In Rochester, 7-0, 9-0 over the big victory over Rochester Adams. As you see the conference overall there, the overall records 8-1, and that was the big victory over Adams, and we will have that highlight for you at halftime of that contest, the Rochester Adams game, and that was just an outstanding contest there.
Yeah, what, about 7,500, 8,000 people there?
It's just a record crowd, and here we see the Troy Colts starting quarterback Ryan Kipke warming up on the sideline as we get ready for this contest and the kickoff.
And as cold as it is out there, it's not only hard to throw and kick. Early on, it might be hard just to hold on to the football, and expect to see a lot of gloves being worn. Of course, national high school rules kind of limit which gloves you can wear nowadays as that kickoff goes through the end zone.
So the Troy Colts will start their first possession at their own 20-yard line. And this is always a good contest because of the Battle of Troy. The players know each other so well, and a lot of friends on opposite sides of the field here today. And it generally turns out to be a great contest. Gary Griffith, the Troy head coach, having an outstanding season. We saw the Troy Colts over the Kimball Knights last time here, and they just handled them quite easily. Let's see what happens today, though, against Troy Athens. The handoff goes to E.J. Howell. Howell breaks it outside, and Howell down the sideline into Athens territory across the 50. What a great way to start the game, and that's something we saw the Troy Colts do against Kimball. They struck quickly with a touchdown pass on the very first play. This time, E.J. Howell breaks it outside, Joe.
E.J. Howell's been having that kind of year, though. He's, a lot of teams early in the year concentrated totally on Garrett Gould because he's one of the best fullbacks in the state. And not only does he run well, though, he opens up holes, and E.J. Howell is able to take it out. He's got kind of breakaway speed that can get those 20 and 30-yard gains like he just got there.
The second play from scrimmage goes to Gould this time, and he gains maybe a couple of yards. Let's see where they mark it. And what a backfield this team has. We talked last time that we saw this Troy Colt team. Just a great backfield. They complement each other greatly. And Scott Hamus has a little bit of an injury, but that's the only injury that the Troy Colts have, so to speak.
And Scott Hamus is one of the forgotten guys, actually. He, you know, when he's in there, you look and you hear about Gould and Howell and something. This guy's always making a lot of big plays too, and he's kind of, you know, not totally forgotten, but just he's the third guy mentioned.
Kipke to pass, complete out there to Goldberg, and gains a good chunk of yardage there in the second down. It'll bring up third and short yardage now for the Troy Colts.
And here you see Kipke. Troy obviously doesn't rely on the pass that much when you've got the kind of running backs that they have, but you've got to keep the defense honest, and Kipke's done a good job of that this year.
Third down and about 2 yards here for the Troy Colts. A long 1 yard. And the handoff to Howell. Howell breaks it outside again, picks up the first down, and more down to about the 35, 36-yard line.
And right now they're just moving the ball up and down the field. It's another thing with this weather, and it's good to have a lot of weapons, as you see Howell just break it and cut out right again. It's harder to catch your breath, and you really can't have anybody, no matter how good they are, carrying it 30 or 40 times today. They got to keep them to about 15 to 20.
This is the coldest weather that we've had all season, really. It's not going to get much into the high 30s, maybe 40 if we're lucky. Gould has it, he fumbles it, and fortunately for the Colts, one of the linemen falls on it. That's big number 75, Torrey Atkins. Let's take a look.
And here he never got the handoff. I mean, I don't know if it was just a miscommunication or a miss of timing or what, but he never really had possession of the ball. You know, one of the things when we're talking about the rivalries, one of the things that makes this a great rivalry is that both of these teams traditionally are playoff contenders. Athens is having a bit of a down year, but when both teams traditionally are that solid, the rivalry becomes even better. You know, if you're not that good, then the city rivalry doesn't matter.
Good point. Here we go. A sack for a loss this time. As big number 74, Wigstant gets in there. Brent Wigstant gets in there to sack Howell for another loss here. Ryan Kipke, the quarterback, the senior for the Troy Colts.
Yeah, kind of the point I was making with that, though, is you look at Rochester and Rochester Adams, everyone comes out. This one, everyone comes out. If you go to Bloomfield Hills and see Lasser and Andover, Lasser's always in it. Andover's not. It's not a big rivalry. Seaholm Groves isn't a big rivalry. Southfield Lathrop isn't. Rochester and Rochester Adams, Troy and Troy Athens, those are big because they're both great.
Yeah, they're pretty consistent teams year in and year out. Kipke unloads downfield, intended down there for McCarty, and just threw it a little bit behind him, but as soon as he released, he was hit from behind. And a good showing by the Athens defense here in stopping the Troy Colts from getting any further than the 35.
And now Athens, I don't know what kind of special teams they've got as far as putting in a punt block, but this is a time to try it.
They don't really put any pressure on. It's a fair catch called for by number 25, Schiller. Schiller taking it at about the 15-yard line, just shy right there, the 15.
That's a smart move. You don't want to take the chance on that ball rolling near the end zone and getting you inside the 5. And there's not much point of returning that and only getting an extra couple of yards.
John Walker on the far sideline, head coach of the Athens Redhawks. And he says defense is a key for us, and his defense held up greatly in that first drive there against the Colts. Quarterbacking is Stroyinski. We saw him last week against Dondero. And he has progressed nicely for John Walker. Off-tackle play by Athens, and that does not get much yardage. Brent McDonald running that one.
Yeah, and they're going to have to do a few things to spring him free. It's going to be a tough day for him. I've seen Troy a couple times. I know you have too. They're really good at stopping the run. You've got to throw to keep them honest. You know, the closest game they've had was against Seaholm, 14-9. That's because they were able to throw. And they've got a 1,000-yard rusher who had over 100 yards, but after his top 2, he was 15 carries for 15 yards. Just hard to run on the Colts.
There we go. To the air. Storinsky throwing in the direction of number 32, and that is Jeff Smith. Smith, we saw last week get a lot of balls going his way. Also, they've got the wind at their back, so now's the time to throw if they're going to throw, Joe.
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, that sounds like that's a great thing. That doesn't always help you either because you throw it and all it does is carry it past the wide receiver. Really, you just want to wait for the wind to stop. Although if you can get down there, you can try and kick a field goal. We know both teams have kickers with real strong legs.
And the reason why it is so cold, the wind is coming directly from the north as it's growing north-south across the field. McDonald nowhere to go there as the Troy Colts stack it up. And it's a punting down now for the Red Hawks. Let's take a look.
Yeah, here, I mean, he just never gets a chance. He gets the ball and he's hit before he gets to the line of scrimmage. I say it's the same thing I saw that Jordan Herrick went through, and eventually he broke the 67-yarder. But God, the effort you had to do to get that to happen, and it's probably what'll happen with McDonald. He's going to break one or two. We saw him do it last week. The guy's the top runner in Oakland County, but it's going to wear him out in the process of doing that.
There's Athens to punt. The Colts will get good field position after this. Schiller's punt taken at the 45, and Cook, flags fly. Eric Cook returns it to about the 45 of Athens.
I think there was a clip right in front of him, too.
Let's see the call here, and if this is, and it looks like it is going against the Colts, it is a clip, and that'll knock them back into their own territory. Let's take a look. There's the kick by Schiller.
Schiller, we just mentioned how they have a strong kicking game. He gets it deep. You're going to see just as Cook gets it almost to the end of the run, basically, it'd almost been tackled, and I don't know if we'll be able to see from this angle the clip. There it was, I believe. Either that one or 79 clipping right there. It looked like two guys getting hit from behind.
Yeah, we just missed the call down from the referee, but it was a clip. And the Troy Colts fans celebrating a little early, Joe.
Yeah, celebrating early after their team got penalized, too, which...
Should save all that stuff. Well, with Halloween right around the corner, they're probably getting into the field of things. E.J. Howell gaining a good chunk of yardage on the first down carry. It'll be a second and about 5 coming up.
And here Howell once again just running off right tackle. One of the things I think that Athens is going to have to be aware of, though, is somewhere along the line, they're just going to run a play-action pass and either hit Gould in the flat or find one of their receivers all alone downfield because they're going to concentrate so much on Howell.
Gary Griffith, you saw, talking to his team defensively. That's the key for him as he talks to his defensive players. And on the second down play, nothing there for Gould, and it'll bring up third down and a long 4, looks like. Nope, really no gain, so 3rd and 5.
And Gould, he's another one of those guys that you see him just keep bulling through, getting a yard, getting 2 yards, and suddenly breaking one. Doesn't have a lot of, if any, moves, but he's so big and so quick he doesn't need them. He's, just your prototypical fullback.
3rd down and 5 now. 6 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Dave Zorn and Joe Abramson here at Troy High School. And the battle for Troy. Back to pass. Kipke has time and now has to unload downfield over his intended receiver, number 82, David Cheek.
Cheek had to make an adjustment on his route, and Kipke was getting blitzed. He got knocked down hard right after he threw it. There was just no way that play was going to work. It's probably good that he overthrew him because the guy was double or triple covered.
Strong defenses so far by both teams have prevented either offense from really getting anything going. The big play that we've seen was the very first play from scrimmage when E.J. Howell broke one. The snap is high, but no pressure for Howell as he gets this one off end over end, and it'll roll in favor of the Colts. And they'll down it inside the 30 at about the 27-28 yard line.
Now, Athens has got to be feeling a little good. One of the things when you play a team that's ranked so high, that they're such a huge favorite and everything, if you can hold them back early, the longer you hold them back, the more you start to think you got a chance. That's always a key with, and for the, for the favorite, Troy in this case, key is come out early, get them down, and just mentally ruin them, and they haven't done that today. So you got to give Athens a big edge already in the game, even though it's scoreless and nobody's really gained any yards.
Yeah, ball at the 27. That's where the Red Hawks start. Stroinski back to pass, looking deep. And on the coverage right there with him was Topher, Jared Topher, covering his man very closely, intended down there for Smith.
I think that John Walker's, I'm sure his coaches that are sitting above us are going to point out that number 20 Wickice was open underneath. And hey, don't force it. If the guy's covered deep, go underneath to the short guy. It'll still get you 5 or 6 yards.
There it is, as you see. Smith, a big target there for Stroinski.
And of course, again, that is, though, you got to throw on these guys. That's the only way you're going to realistically have a shot other than your defense coming up with big plays.
Troy Colts have a very good defensive backfield, too, so we'll see how that matchup works out. McDonald stopped hold again. It'll be 3rd and long now for Athens as the run is just being nullified by this Troy Colt defense here. And McDonald, one of the leading ground gainers in the #1 ground gainer in Oakland County.
Of course, if he doesn't get anything today, I think Bogner from Rochester probably will be ahead of him.
That's right, and we will see Bogner in the highlights of that Rochester-Adams game at halftime. So stay tuned for that. Stroyinski back to pass, has a little bit of time, goes right down the middle of the field, and it could not hit Sturm. Intended for Mark Sturm, and just out of his reach.
You know, the play didn't work that time, but the play's there, and Athens knows it now. They know that they can get their receivers open. And once you know that, you go in, you make some adjustments on those plays. You know, you take it from a 5-step drop to a 3-step drop. You make it go quicker. You try to counterbalance that rush that they're bringing in.
Sturm was open. He just had it right on the number as he would have had close to a first down. It'll be Schiller to punt again. Cook is back to receive for the Colts. The pressure put on and almost blocked down there by Chad Benson. This ball will go out of bounds.
I don't know how he missed that.
Yeah. Ball goes out of bounds about the 46, and that's where the Colts will start. So the Colts have had real good field position, but haven't been able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, it's like they'll get a first down or two, and then something will happen to stop it. Here,
look at how close this gets to being blocked.
A lot of high snaps on the punts already today, and boy, he just missed it. I'm impressed that he didn't nail the kicker.
He might have even got it, that's why, huh?
I'm impressed that he didn't nail the kicker when he did it.
Well, we've seen Benson with a very aggressive play, and he's done a great job in the games that we've seen. The pitch goes back to Howell again. This is a sweep outside, and
good pursuit.
The Redhawks managed to string it out and get him out there. Maybe a 2-yard gain out of that one. Let's take a look.
Real good pursuit here by the Redhawks as Howell tries to take it outside. This is similar to what we saw in their first play when he took it up for about 30 yards, and this time they were able to get past the blocking. You see Gould, hey, the guy can only block one of those 3 people there. The other 2 come in and make the tackle.
Kohlenberg on the tackle, number 45. 2nd down and 8 now for the Colts. In motion is Goldberg. Gould and Howell in the backfield, and it's going to be Howell again, off tackle to the left, and they stack it up. Give a lot of credit to this Redhawks defense so far.
Yeah, they've obviously made some adjustments off those first couple of runs that he's made. And, you know, you talk about, again, we've talked about it before, Howell and McDonald. There have been just so many good running backs, and I think it's cold on the field. I'd like to be upstairs.
Yeah, above us. That wind blowing and no protection up there. As our camera folks bring you these pictures that you're seeing right there. 3rd down and about 6. Kipke ran into his own player, unloads downfield. Intended down there for number 49, McCarty, but right on top of him, number 42, Hardaway. Brian Hardaway to stop it.
And that might have been interference.
Let's take a look and see how close this is.
Let's take a look
Kipke
here.
will step on one of his own players, dropping back.
Yep. Right there, and he's runs into Howell as he basically just throws a desperation pass. Well, he threw the lights out.
Schiller will take it and down it on a fair catch at the 25, and that's where Athens will start. Athens has been around in that area on all of their drives, really, to start. And really no team with any drive, so to speak.
Yeah, one of the things I think Athens might have to do, Donald's having trouble getting past the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to find some ways to get him out in pass plays. Get him past the lineman, have him deal with D-backs. He can handle that. He can get past them. He doesn't need to deal with 260-pound guys. And once you spread him out with the pass, Troy's got to play a more honest defense. Then maybe you bust up a couple of runs.
Well, timeout down on the field for the refs talking to Gary Griffith. Could it be the clock? Let's see.
If you hear that PA announcement.
We heard whistles.
Whistles in the crowd. And that is a pretty relevant request to make if there are people blowing whistles.
Well, you get players injured. You can see how strong that wind is blowing. And again, that's blowing from the north, so that flag is heading south. So you know how cold that wind can be blowing from the north there, especially this late in October. Dan Stroyinski, the quarterback, handing off, and the run is not working very effectively for the Redhawks here today.
And that's, anyone who saw the game last week, they know how good this guy is. And for them to be able to stop him is real impressive. I don't know if you saw right there, as we take a look at this run that goes for about 2 or 3 yards. McDonald's got number 60 written on his wrist. A lot of these Athens guys got it on their wrist and on the tape on their shoes. That's for one of the Rochester players who is a friend of all of theirs. In fact, I guess he's real good friends with Matt Schiffer. Blew his knee out last night in the big win over Rochester Adams. And it's kind of their way to show their support for him. His season's over as his team enters the playoffs.
Yeah. The pass complete out to Smith. And let's see if forward progress will give him the first down. It's very close. Let's see. First down. They give it to him. Let's take a look.
Well, they didn't even measure it.
No, the ref was right there where he caught it, and they give it to him right across the 35-yard line, and they needed to get to the 36, and they got it.
Well, that's their first down, and they did it through the air.
So Stroyinski completing to Smith for the first down. McDonald trying to cut outside, but Gould is right there to wrap him up, and the rest of the Troy defense comes up.
And still, Troy is coming out with the attitude that, look, if you're going to score on us, somebody other than McDonald's going to do it. And really what they're going to have to come off with that play there, probably come up with a bootleg or something like that where you can throw a quick pass or even have Stroyinski run with it the other way. But right now, they're just getting overpowered.
The Colts know that Athens has to get the ground game going with McDonald, and they're keying on that. Second down, and about 9 coming up now. McDonald trying to break it, just got a couple of yards again, and Colts really stifling the ground game for Athens.
Yeah, their pursuit to the ball is unbelievable. Every time you think he might have a shot at it, it ends right then. Somebody else comes up and finishes off the tackle.
There we see Kipke on the sideline. Troy Colt quarterback. Trying to get in there now. They've got a third and about 4 coming up. Two tight ends now. And the handoff going to 45. Strong run by Kohlenberg to get the first down as they go to the right side and go with their strength, too. Leading the way was number 44, Sturm.
And you go with somebody other than McDonald, you got to try something, and if they're going to key on McDonald all day, hey, make him block. And look, he makes a great block. And, that's, a great all-around football player does that. There's a lot of great running backs who aren't great football players. But if you can block when you don't have the ball, that's such a bonus to your team.
Sturm led the way, and a key block by McDonald on the end coming across to open it up. That time for Kohlenberg. Timeout for the Redhawks as they are moving now offensively. It's taking a little work, but they're starting to get the offensive wheels going here. This month on Roadshow Video, Bubba and Pat head up to Almont, Michigan to experience a game of paintball. And that's tonight on Roadshow Video, right after the game at 9 o'clock. Right here on TCI 63.
That looks like a Roadshow Video fan right there.
That is Elvis. The King lives. And he lives on the arm of Brian Kipke. Tune in next month, I guess. Brad and Pat will take us out on the farm if you ever wanted to live out on Green Acres or anything like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting things.
Those guys go everywhere.
They go everywhere.
They're making all the money though. That's why.
That's why. See, when you can do that,
that budget.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the White Zombie videos to be shown on there.
What is this?
It's a group.
White Zombies.
White Zombie. Yeah, it's a good group. The kids watching know who they are.
Yeah.
And you just basically gave away your age when you said, "Who's this?"
Who's that? You see, that's right. Because I can't stay up late enough to watch Beavis and Butthead now.
Well, and you're not cool.
They're on too late. First and 10 for the Redhawks now. Ball at about the 47-yard line, 48-yard line, we'll call it. And The Redhawks trying to get in Colt territory, and they do it. A quick opener to Smith, and Smith gets about 9 yards on that one.
Well, you know, we mentioned earlier when he tried to force that throw deep that, hey, there's guys open underneath, and I think they know that, and they're going with these short passes. And if this keeps working, you're going to watch that Troy defense spread out, and then Brent McDonald's going to be able to break a long run.
Usually you try to get the ground game to open up your air attack, and now the Redhawks saying, okay, well, if they're giving us these short patterns, we'll take them and try to open something up for McDonald a little later. 35 seconds left here in the first quarter, and the Redhawks really putting together their first real drive of the game. Storinsky back to pass again. Now has to unload, and in and out of the hands of Smith. He was covered there closely by number 32, Topher.
Tell you what, you take that incompletion and walk away real happy. He was getting blitzed, could have been sacked and given themselves a 3rd and 10, and then he forced this pass, which could have been picked off. He threw it into the coverage again, but I think he might have been just giving it a chance to actually hit the guy right in the hands. I just couldn't believe he tried it. That's a great effort to get it there. Yeah. But, hey, take that. It's 3rd and 1. You should be able to get this, although it has been hard to run.
Clock stopped at 20 seconds left here in the first quarter. Let's see what the Redhawks do. They go with the strength. They go with McDonald off tackle, and he follows his 2 blockers for the first down.
Yeah, he's still the kind of...
Yes, they give it to him.
He's still the kind that even though they're shutting him down from the big gains, if he needs to get a yard, it's going to be tough to stop him on that. Especially with the blocking that he's got in front of him. They run that power backfield.
Here, the defensive captain, number 52, Blake Williams, getting the signals from the sideline.
They won't run another play this quarter.
Yeah, that'll do it. That will end the first quarter of play here at Troy High School, and the battle for Troy continues. No score so far as we head into the second quarter now. The Redhawks on the move, and they have the Troy Colts a little off balance now, Joe.
Yeah, suddenly they're the ones making the progress where Troy made progress its first drive, and that was it. After that, they've been pretty much 3 downs and out, or maybe one first down, and then have to punt after another 3 plays. But you know, Athens going to the air, and like we said, if you're going to beat these guys, you're going to have to throw.
And if you're going to have to throw, don't throw the fish away yet. The Master Angler Show is coming up Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. right here on TCI 63. Your host, Mark Gomez, takes you to some great fishing spots around the state, places you might not know about, places you may know about, but if there's fish to catch, he'll do it.
You talk about making all the money. That guy's got a budget. He's everywhere.
That's right. You know, he can afford to go fish.
Oh, man, I guess he's like Hawaii, deep sea fishing.
Troy Colt sideline there as the Colts seem to be a little bit worried right now. The Redhawks with the ball at the 41-yard line.
I'll tell you,
and the first time they've gotten into Colt territory.
Yeah, you know, we just saw the Troy fans, and you know, around Oakland County, they're pretty much considered to have the best fans. You know, last night Rochester Adams was a big rivalry, but year in, year out, the Troy High fans are just unbelievable.
And Rochester Adams, again, that'll be on at halftime as the Redhawks try to run here on the first down and get a couple of yards. This time, it's number 45, Kohlenberg, on the carry.
You know, one thing this does for Athens, obviously, if they can take this all the way down and score, that's the best thing it can do for them. But even if they don't, whereas before they stayed in their territory and the punts were going back and forth and the ball staying in Athens' territory, if they have to punt at any point here now, Troy's stuck in its own territory, and all the momentum and all the concern has to shift, too, where Troy can't afford to make mistakes.
Yeah, Athens now into the wind. It'll be Stroinski on the run himself. He'll gain about 3 yards, but it'll be third and about 4 or 5 coming up here. Let's see.
Yeah, he had Baker in one-on-one coverage. Would have taken a good throw to get it there. I think maybe he could have, but he went the safe route, got him a couple yards gain on that, and brings up a 3rd down in about 4. And we're looking at another play.
That's the one that Kohlenberg ran previous to that. 3rd down and about 4 coming up now for the Redhawks. And again, they're throwing into the wind now.
If you're throwing short passes like they've been, that
shouldn't matter.
Really, it's going to affect the extra points and the field goals more than the pass.
Yeah. But the Colts do have the wind at their back now. 3rd down and 4. Big down here for the Red Hawks. They have to convert. Trying to draw the Colts offside. That doesn't work, and the dive here is just blocked up by the Colt defense, and McDonald nowhere to run again.
Well, now you got a decision to make. Do you punt here? And if you punt it out of bounds, you only get about 14 yards.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go.
Yeah, going
4
for
down territory here.
Yeah, you got to get 3 yards. I don't think they're going to run that quick dive play again. Got them a yard when they needed it, but I don't know about 3 yards against this defense. They might have to come up with some play action here.
4th down and about 2. 10:40 left here in the second quarter. Diving is Kohlenberg to pick up the 1st down. A big 4th down conversion here for the Athens Red Hawks, and they get inside the 30-yard line. Let's take a look, Joe.
I never thought they would try that play needing to get 3 yards, but they did, and it worked. Of course, with Kohlenberg, they ran that in the first quarter, and it got them about 8 yards. You know, Troy probably sat there looking for number 9 again, sure that he was going to get it if it was a run. You know, great call by John Walker.
Ball on the 29-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Red Hawks. Smith and Whitehouse are split. Storinsky back to pass, looking for Smith. Smith has a beat on the ball. He's got it. Inside the 10-yard line to about the 7. The defender had no idea where the ball was. Smith made the adjustment and comes up with a big reception here, Joe.
Well, the ball might actually have been underthrown, and it worked to their advantage because the receiver is able to see, and like you said, the defender was just watching the receiver, and by that time he was able to turn. He slipped, and Smith was able to make the catch, and now they're inside the 10.
Yeah, David Cheek covering Smith that time. Could not react fast enough as he saw Smith making the adjustment. 1st and goal from about the 6-yard line. Stroyansky calling the signals. McDonald following Kohlenberg, and they get inside the 5, but not much.
And now, when you're sitting there now, it's going to be 2nd and goal at about the 5. This may be a time for Coach Walker to decide, do we go just 3 straight plays of McDonald running it, figuring he's going to get 5 yards out of 3 runs, which realistically he should do, or do you want to come up with some sort of gadget play or going back to Kohlenberg maybe?
There we see head coach John Walker looking at a 2nd and 5 now. 2nd and goal from the 5. Kohlenberg and McDonald in the backfield. Sturm up off the right side. They go to Kohlenberg, who drags a couple of Colts in, and he fumbled the ball.
I think he got stripped. I think it just got taken out of his hands.
And coming up with it, number 82, David Cheek, who was burned on the pass play, and he makes up for it big time here.
I don't think that ball ever touched the ground. I think he took it right out of his hands.
Try to see if we can see anything on the replay of what happened down there.
Yeah, the Athens coaches are arguing that his forward progress has stopped and the whistle should have blown.
Let's take a look.
Referees don't agree.
Kohlenberg on the carry, and he should be across the goal line right now.
He did fumble
cleanly.
Wow.
And Cheek right there to pick it up.
His forward progress is not stopped by any means.
No.
That's still a live play without a doubt. That's just a great effort by the Troy defense.
Good, clean play, and the Colts come up with a big play to change the momentum here. But the Red Hawk defense fired up, and they stop E.J. Howell on the first carry here.
Oh, it's funny. I was about to say.
We got to play better defense. We shouldn't have put ourselves in that situation. Their passing game, we're doing okay against the pass. But man, we can't allow them to keep running the ball.
Trying to get the team fired up defensively, and the Red Hawks so far have done it to the Colts. Ball tipped away. And another big play for the Red Hawks.
Athens defense some credit. A lot of times when you come up with the kind of disappointment they just had, the other team's able to come up with a big play and score right away, and their defense has actually come out kind of angry right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're just going to turn over and die because they made a mistake down there. Troy came up with the big play when it needed to, and it looks like Athens is going to also. This game might just come down to field goals or one touchdown the way it's going.
We're talking to Gary Griffith before the game. He says this is a playoff game right here for us. we've got to win this one. 8:04 left in the second quarter. No score. Third and about 8. Kipke to pass, getting pressured. Unloads downfield, and it's short, intended down there for Goldberg.
Yeah, he was thrown across his body and got hit as he threw. That was pretty tough. And again, we talked about this a few minutes ago. Troy is now punting from its own territory. It's a little different for Athens. And both teams have had a little trouble on the snaps with the punts. And Athens may come in and try to block. E.J. Howell, though, one of the better punters in the area. And now he's got the wind at his back. He could really nail this one.
There it is. Howell to punt. Good snap. And this will be short. Carried, though, by the wind. Schiller will let it go. And it turns out to be a pretty good one here for the Colts as it gets the Redhawks back to about their own 29-yard line. No score yet. We're in the second quarter with 7:48 left. And it's been back and forth with these two teams. And again, you can throw the records out the window when it comes to these two teams playing here. The Troy Colts undefeated coming into the game. Athens 4-4. And
you got to remember, 2 of Athens' losses are to Rochester and Rochester Adams, who everybody else lost to also. And they got a raw deal on that Adams loss, not in that they should have won, but that it should have gone to another overtime.
Stroinski deep to Smith. Smith at the 30, to the 25. Touchdown, Athens.
Short passes, dink him to death, and then hit him deep. And we saw Smith come up with big plays last week, and here he does it again.
Well, you could almost sense that the Redhawks were cheated on that last touchdown, which they should have had, and they wanted to get it back. The defense came out fired up, stopped the Colts, and then with this play.
Talked about it earlier. The only real tough game Troy's had all year was against Seaholm, and they threw for about 230 yards on them. That's how you're going to beat these guys, is going through the air. And Sperinski's a good enough quarterback to do it, and he's got the receivers. Smith caught it, makes a nice move here. You don't realize it. Just this little cut here took the angle away from Cook. Or, excuse me, from Cheek. Cheek and Benson, yeah. And then he was able to take it into the end zone.
And Benson stumbled just a little bit as he was covering. The extra point attempt is up, and it is no good.
Wide left.
So that is a big extra point attempt that failed to get through for Athens. But a play by the Athens Redhawks to come up with a big 6 points here. And striking with the lightning quickness that time to Smith.
And now, obviously, all the momentum was with Athens. Troy's got to come out and say, look, we've come from behind before this year. They won with 2 minutes left in Birmingham. They've dominated pretty much everybody else, but they have proven that they don't have to come out to the big lead. And if you can come back against your crosstown rival, maybe that can give you a little more momentum going into the playoffs, but you definitely don't want to go into the playoffs with a loss. And in their region, who knows, a loss might even knock you out. Their region is so tough that actually, the defending state champion, Redford Catholic Central, probably isn't going to make the playoffs, which I'm real happy about.
It'll be Brian Schiller to do the kicking now for the Redhawks.
Don't like those guys.
Not
the people particularly, just the schools.
Low line drive kick, kicking into the window. They didn't want to get it up there. Taken at the 20 there by E.J. Howell. Howell still on his feet and finally brought down at about the 40-yard line. So a great return here for the Colts. And again, they find themselves in good field position.
Great field position. And if I'm Troy, I'd come out now and just keep giving the ball to Howell on those sweeps like they did early when he was gaining 20 yards. And here he just runs it straight up the middle, gets as much as he can, and gives him great field position.
So good show of power there, too, by Howell. He's quick, but they've got Gould for the power. That time, E.J. showing a little bit of that himself.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power himself.
Gould, the up back, and E.J. Howell takes it, the tailback, but this time the swarming Red Hawk defense in there again. These guys are fired up.
Wow.
Now, you were talking about going one way and saying, okay, well, let's give the ball to Howell, but if you keep giving it, they're stopping Howell just like McDonald is being stopped on the other side.
Yeah, early, Howell was getting a lot of yards, and I thought, hey, they've got it going. Obviously, Athens has made the adjustments. Maybe Troy's going to have to go to the air, too, or go to Gould a little bit more.
Kipke, the quarterback. Let's see what they do here. It's second down, about 12. Loss of 2 on the play. Kipke to throw, has a little time, now has to scramble, throws back, complete, and inside the 45-yard line, complete down there to McCarty. Dan McCarty, the junior.
Great job of reading the defense by Kipke there. You're looking at him right now, he's looking at Gould in the flat. Gould's covered. Now he looks left and sees McCarty open and makes the adjustment. There you saw Gould up to the top of the screen who was covered. He read his secondary receiver and got it to him and got the first down on that play.
And a tough pass, too, throwing across his body back to
off
McCarty.
The back foot, yeah.
First and 10 at about the 44. E.J. Howell breaks it outside for about 9.
And again, once you throw the ball, it seems the defense just spreads out a little. And even if it's only a half a yard, it's just that little bit of space. And a quick back like E.J. Howell just needs that little bit of space to get through.
Second down and about 2 coming up now. Play coming in. Number 39 brings it in, Appledorn. And he'll come down to the bottom of the screen. Up top is Goldberg. Pro set, 2nd and 2. Howell on the carry. Howell with the first down.
And he dragged a couple tacklers. Only needed a couple yards. They weren't going to stop that. Really, 2nd and 2 might be a time to go deep. But right now, if you're Troy, you're marching, you're moving into their territory. Just get the first downs and keep it going. This is what's worked all year.
They really don't want to give any edge to the Red Hawk defense because any kind of a stop would get them fired up again. And they have been doing a great job in stopping the Colts so far. Colts showing something now on this drive, though. I formation, 2 receivers up top. In motion, Goldberg now. Kipke on the handoff to Howell. Everybody passes him, and a good tackle that time. Getting from behind is Sturm.
Sturm, and I think one of the linemen got in too and got a helmet on his thigh. But I think he's feeling it too. Yeah, it looked like he might go all the way there, and all of a sudden he got stopped for about a yard gain.
And checking in is Topher. Jared Topher will take the spot of E.J. Howell. He was hit, and you can tell, Joe, you did pick that up. There we see John Walker. His defense has to come up big here now. 2nd down and 9.
Happy and cold, John Walker.
Yeah.
Probably a nervous John Walker.
Was happy to see Howell come out. Kipke going deep. He's got his man, Goldberg, at the 5.
And I think they're going to call he stepped out at the 5, which he did. He was hoping for that tackle at the 1, but still. Saw his man open, got it to him. Again, rolling out to his left, across his body. This is not an easy throw to make. Squares himself up, throws on the run.
Yeah, there's Goldberg. He did go out. They mark him at the 4.
Hey, you know, the scouting report against Troy is make him beat you with the pass, but they just might do it.
Let's see what happens here. Howell back in there, and a power eye right. Goldberg to the top of the screen. They go to Howell. Howell gets maybe a couple of yards at most.
Yeah, they got power backfield with Gould and Hamas both blocking for him. Went behind Gould that time, got maybe a yard.
Yard on the play, 2nd down and 3. At the 3. 2nd down and goal from the 3. Here we go. 3:30 left in the 2nd quarter. Troy Colts want to take the lead here if they can. Howell again stopped. The Red Hawks have been stopping the dives, anything up the middle, and they've been doing a great job on the ground game. And Joe, again, they're forced to take a look at the situation. Maybe they want to go to the air.
They're stopping it, but they're stopping it at a yard gain every time, and from the 4-yard line, it's going to be a touchdown if they do it 2 more times. They might just keep going with it.
Yeah, well, how far do you want to go with it, though? That's the thing. You want to keep calling those 1-yard gains.
When you only need 2 and you got 2 more downs to go.
Yeah, they could be setting something else up, too. Let's see. 3rd and goal from the 2. Kipke calling the signals. Again, it's E.J. Howell, and again, Howell this time for the touchdown. E.J. Howell. And they wanted to pound it in, and they did. And it's a tie game at 6-6 right now. The extra point is big. Out there to kick is Beams. Paul Beams to do the extra point. Let's see the touchdown.
Right there, again, just following Goulden Hamus into the end zone. E.J. Howell, a sight seen quite a bit on this field, him in the end zone. And Beams, I think he's had a couple of 40-yard field goals this year, so you know he can kick.
With the wind at his back, he gets it through, and the Troy Colts lead by 1 now. 7-6. The Troy Colts lead over the Red Hawks, and that extra point is big for the Red Hawks now. They'll probably have to go, if they do get in the end zone, for a 2-point conversion.
Oh, yeah. And, well, if you're Athens, though, you look at the clock, there's 2:41 left. They've got 2 of their timeouts left, and their touchdown that they scored was on a 70-yard play, I think, or some ridiculously long
71
play.
yards.
Yeah, so that's plenty of time. Just do what's been working this whole second quarter for them. And, you know, just good clock management ought to take care of things. Troy, on the other hand, at the same time, has to be aware that, hey, they just burned you deep a couple minutes ago. Don't take this 7-6 lead and assume that we're going into halftime with it just by showing up on the field. You got to come out and stop these guys.
Still a lot of time again, you mentioned. Still a lot of time for a drive. 2:41 left on the clock here in the second quarter. It'll be Beams to kick off.
And he's got Smith deep, the guy who scored the touchdown.
And it'll be Smith to take it at the goal line. And he'll take it out. A little indecision, but he wanted to take it out. And he'll pay the price as he gets stopped at about the 15-yard line.
That indecision is because, according to the rule, he can't take it out. You can't take a ball out of the end zone in high school football, and the ref is saying he caught it at the 1, and most refs I know say...
Yeah, he looked right at the referee before he even took it out.
I think he expected them to call touchback, and they said, hey, the clock's running. I really think that the rule is if your momentum takes you in, which his momentum did, that's a touchback, and he doesn't have to take it out. But when the ref starts winding his arm like that, if he doesn't, it's a safety.
Yeah.
And I think that was just
he had
one of
no
those,
choice then.
Yeah, I think, though, according to the rule, that should have been a touchback. I don't think you can ever take the ball out of the end zone.
1st and 10 at the 15 now for the Red Hawks. Stroyinski to pass on first down. Quick pattern out to Smith, and it's incomplete.
Good defensive play.
Smith was open too, though.
Well, he was
had
open.
A chance to grab it.
He was open, but number 32, Toffer, came up behind him and knocked it out of his hands.
So 2nd and 10 now. Here's the Troy Colts drive. 9 plays, 55 yards, eating up 4:49 off the clock. And we're down at 2:12 right now. Stroyinski on the handoff, and nothing there. Both defenses stifling the ground game so far. It's been all passing. And now 35 on the carry, and that's Schiffer, Matt Schiffer.
I was about to say, if I was Troy, I'd call a timeout, and they just did. All of a sudden, I think they're realizing.
They're first of the half.
I think, yeah, they're realizing, you know, you stop him right here, they're going to have to punt into the wind. You're going to get the ball about the 50-yard line with maybe a minute and a half left. And we mentioned they got Beams, who's kicked a couple of 40-plus yard field goals with the wind at his back. All they've got to do really is get the ball to about the 30-yard line, and they're in field goal range. So Athens, this is a must first down for them.
Yeah. You don't want to give the Colts another possession with good field position, because they can get that field goal. As Joe mentioned, the wind still strong, and that's another big plus for the Colts right now. And that, I think Gary Griffith realizes that, and that's why he's explaining to these guys, look, this is a situation. If we can stop them right here, get the ball, and let's say at about the 50 or at worst our 40, they could still,
you know, we've mentioned also
another score.
Both teams have had a couple times where the snaps on punts were high. You know, if it happens deep in Athens' own territory, that's at least a safety, if not a touchdown for Troy.
Here we go. 3rd down and 9 now for the Red Hawks. They've got 2 receivers split down to the bottom. Whitehouse and Smith. Smith on the outside. And they're coming this way. Stroyinski intercepted. Touchdown, Troy Colts. Blake Williams, the captain. The defensive captain read it perfectly, and Stroyinski right in his hands for the interception. And what a great great play here for the Colts. Let's take a look.
Well, here he looks deep to Smith, decides not to go to him. Instead, he tries to go underneath, and there Williams, they had double coverage on number 20, Whitehouse. And, you know, it was, once he intercepted it, there was no way anyone was going to tackle him. He had a wide open field to the corner.
2 quick scores for the Troy Colts.
They got a different
And
kicker
they get
this
another
time.
extra point. This time, it's Jason Vincent to do the kicking. They switched off last time also, last week, or I should say against the Kimball team, and they'll do that. And it's 14-6 now. Troy Colts strike quickly. And what a good timeout for Gary Griffin.
Oh, yeah.
He called a timeout and explained the situation to his
Absolutely.
team. And he has worked so closely with this defense. You'll see him on the sidelines when his offense is out there. He'll be talking to the defense.
Yeah, or he'll be by himself. He doesn't deal with offense.
Right. And he really prepared that defense out there to make something happen. And they did.
And that is the kind of thing that can kill the underdog. You know, Athens, you know, even if you go in down 7-6, they would love to have come up with a big play there and scored again, but to turn it over and allow a score off of that is bad. Now Athens is going to have 1:54 left, and they're going to have to try and come up with a score before halftime out of necessity. And this time he catches it in the end zone, so it's a touchback.
And I think Smith wants to talk to the ref on that, and he is talking to him. Hey, wait a second.
What happened last time?
Yeah.
And I think the officials know that was an error. And the error didn't cost them that much. It was about a 5-yard difference. And, you know, they still would have had 3rd and long. It still would have been an interception, so it wasn't costly.
And not really a drive, but hey, we'll call it a drive. One play, 20 yards, interception, and 7 seconds off the clock to run 20.
That's right. And Blake Williams will call it a drive.
Yes, the Blake drive. And here is McDonald. Looked like he was going to break it outside, but Gould is right there to wrap him up.
Yeah, he had his legs moving. I thought he might be able to break, not a touchdown or anything, maybe 15, 20 yards. And a couple times now, the last guy there has made the tackle, and he gets, you know, 1 or 2 yards.
Not much, and it's 2nd down, and 9 coming up now for the Red Hawks with 1:27 and counting down here in the 2nd quarter. Stroyanski, they go to the air again, complete to Smith, and it looked like he might have picked up the 1st down. He was right there at the marker.
He's right on the 30. That's the 1st down.
Clock stop, 1:12 till they move the chains. Let's take a look. Stroyanski coming right back to the air after the interception.
Go with the short pass to Smith, hoping probably that they can set up the deep one somewhere in the last minute and 10 seconds.
Beams wraps him up, but not after picking up the 1st down. Clock rolling again at 1 minute right now. Stroyanski has time to throw. Going deep. Smith, that time turned into the defender against Chad Benson. Benson just hanging back, waiting for the interception.
Made a good play. And once again, he's got Whitehouse on the side in man-to-man coverage, and he forces it deep into double coverage. And you really can't blame him. The guy this play worked for a touchdown earlier, so why not go back to it? But I think they're going to have to come up with like a hitch and go or something like that where you can make the defenders bite. But there's only 52 seconds left, and it's 2nd down and 10.
Here we go. Stroyanski, 2 receivers split. And they go to the draw. And getting in there quickly and wrapping him up is number 66, Bergeron, Dwayne Bergeron on the sack.
Now, let's see who's using this timeout. Troy again.
Troy thinks they might be able to get the ball back.
Well, and again, you know, when you've got a field goal kicker like Beams, what the heck? You might as well go for it. And if you know they're going to probably have to throw here, you might be able to blitz and get a sack, which would be better. Conversely, Athens might try to come up with a draw play.
And in a game of this importance, you really want to get as many points as you can on the board. Well, Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Don't forget to tune into Transition right here on TCI 63. As Jeffrey Miller, your host, takes you to different places around the Detroit area, talks to very important people, just like you and I, that make a difference in the community and in this Metro Detroit area.
You've never talked to us. Has he?
I don't think football is his game.
Okay.
He's more of a baccarat player.
Oh, well, man. That's more of like, that's like watch a video type of thing.
I
Really,
don't know. I just wanted to say baccarat. You know, it's a James Bond type thing. Here we go. 3rd down and 13 for the Redhawks. Big down right here. 39 seconds left here in the second quarter. Redhawks. McDonald loses the ball, but then gets it back. It looked like the Colts may have picked up another break.
Troy uses their last timeout now.
And it is still Athens ball. McDonald falling back on it. The Colt player did have a chance of recovering that, too.
And you can advance a fumble in high school, and that was one of those he just didn't have a shot at getting the ball. I thought they might run a draw here only because it was obvious Troy's going to use their timeouts if they have to. Now you make them use their last one on defense, so if their offense is going to do anything, it's going to have to be quick. Yeah. And you have to remember that the clock on a punt, unless it goes out of bounds, the clock will start once the chains are set. So that might be something that Walker's going to tell his punter, hey, don't punt this thing out of bounds, punt it right down the middle and make that clock run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. John Walker now going back off the field after talking to his team, and they probably did say what you just told us, Joe. Keep it in play so that clock can wind down. We don't want the Colts doing anything with it.
Yeah, I don't think
they're punting into the wind. This is a key.
Yeah, this is not a return. This is a punt block they got going.
And there it is. Benson with the block.
And he's running it back, too.
Benson brings it down to...
Well, no, actually, 71 did. Benson blocked it, Bobian brought it back.
Bobian.
71.
And they gave it to him.
Wow. Yeah, you can see there was no return. He had one guy deep and everybody on the line, and they were going to come through and get it. And now the clock will start. The clock should have started, but they didn't call for it. But they're going to kick a field goal right away.
Let's see. It is up. It is good.
Well, it makes it a 2-possession game. When it's an 8-point lead, it's a 1-possession game. 11 points, a 2-possession game. Simple mathematics. But I'd have thought maybe you try one pass into the end zone, but it's a smart play, you know, if it works, and it did.
Well, they went out there quickly. Let's see if we can get that replay. I was totally lost on what happened. 71, Bobian had it.
He picked up after the punt was blocked. There was a mad scramble for it, and he just happened to be the guy that picked it up.
And he was rumbling, stumbling.
Stumbling, bumbling, yeah.
Did he get in?
He got tackled at the 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I lost total track of where that ball was. So they decided to go immediately for the field goal.
When all that
17-6 now.
All that momentum Athens had 5 minutes ago is just gone.
Yeah. And they came out so strong in that first quarter and even in the second quarter. And the Troy Colts have turned it around quickly here. Low line drive kick. Smith has no choice, couldn't get to it as it goes into the end zone. And the Redhawks will get it at the 20 with 18 seconds left. Well, some strange happenings now for the Redhawks as they throw an interception. The Troy Colts score. They had a blocked punt, and the Troy Colts capitalize on that only for 3 that time, but still it's helping them in that margin to pick up that key victory here and go undefeated.
Now, if you're the Redhawks, do you gamble again, or do you just, take this 11-point loss and go in?
Let's see what they do.
Apparently they're going to throw.
They're going to try to go. Stroyinski going deep to Smith. Smith is there, but so are the Troy Colts, and Benson almost came up with the interception.
Wow.
Now the Redhawks trying to go for it. 11 seconds left now. Let's take a look.
Here he looks deep, and I think that Troy knows that he's going to Smith most of the time, and that's his primary guy, and they've got 2 guys on him at all times. They're going to have to come up with somebody else going deep, whether it's splitting McDonald out, putting him in motion, doing something. But they've got to come up with another receiver.
They've got Whitehouse here at the bottom of the screen to the left.
And he's got single coverage so far all day. They might want to look at him.
And Cheek has been burned once, but I don't know if that'll happen. Fumble! And the Troy Colts get it.
Yeah.
5 seconds left. The Troy Colts get it, and the kicking team is going out there, and it looks like they're going to try to boot this one through.
I don't even know if they're going to get this off in time. They might have been able to pick that up and run with it. I don't think they're going to get a kicker out in time. They're not going to get this play off. Take a penalty. Take a penalty is what they're saying. Yeah, that was smart, and it's not going to work, though. Clock ran out. And give 22 a lot of credit there. Benson came up, pushed his guy, go, let's just take a 5-yard penalty, see what can happen. And they don't get
But it cannot end on a penalty, can it? If you refuse it, right?
Yeah, and one thing somebody just pointed out, in high school, in college and the pros, you can snap it and spike it to the ground.
Yeah.
You do that, you can't do it in high school. That's intentional grounding in high school. It's 15 yards and you're out of field goal range. There was really nothing they could do in that situation.
Yeah, the Colts tried to capitalize and couldn't. Halftime, 17-6, Troy Colts lead. We'll be back.
You've got to be strong. To win, you've got to be smart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
It's the battle for Troy. The Red Hawks 6 and the Troy Colts 17 here at halftime. And there was another battle last night. The Rochester Adams Highlanders taking on the Rochester Falcons. And that was the battle for Rochester. And let's see what happened there. And another exciting battle here on TCI 63. On Friday, there wasn't an empty seat in the house at Rochester High School. In fact, it was the largest crowd for any Rochester athletic event in its history. Both teams came into this contest undefeated. As you can see, the Adams Highlanders are 8-0. On the other side, the Falcons also shared the same perfect record. Adams seemed to get things started quickly, like this handoff to Charlie Sanders that moved Adams down to the Falcons' 15-yard line. But it wasn't Adams' turn to score as number 12, Eric Bugner, pops the ball out of number 41, Matt Fisher's hands. Rochester then went to work, highlighted by quarterback Paul Van Dam's pass here to C.J. Howard, giving Rochester a 7-0 lead with 2:45 left in the first quarter. And here, C.J. takes it into the end zone and does a familiar pose reminiscent of Desmond Howard. C.J. on the sidelines, very happy, the senior. Rochester continued to drive, but couldn't score as Van Dam completes this pass to number 85, Mickey Ott. Adams had a couple of chances to score as well, as you see this nice run by Charlie Sanders. They, too, had another chance to get the ball, as number 43, Neil Johnson, just can't hang on right here. And again, we see Adams trying to move the ball. But this time, John Dudley couldn't keep control of it. Rochester tried as well and failed to score, thanks in part to some good defense here. So at halftime, the Rochester Falcons up by a touchdown over the Adams Highlanders by a score of 7-0. In the third quarter, with about 9:30 remaining, the snap takes a bad hop for Adams, and Rochester recovers. And that set up this Paul Van Dam pass to Mike Serlani that gave Rochester a commanding 14-0 lead. But Adams would come back, however, to make this a contest. On the ensuing kickoff, number 5, Jeff Carmody from Adams brings the ball back 37 yards on this run. Then number 41, Matt Fisher, brought Adams even closer to the goal line with this 26-yard run. Then it's Fisher again with his 5-yard run to give Adams their first touchdown of the game. And Coach Zelmansky knew his team was bouncing back from the first half. On Adams' next possession, Charlie Sanders breaks a couple of tackles and runs 43 yards before he's caught by Eric Buchner. Number 43, Neil Johnson, gets the handoff and ties the game up at 14-all. In the fourth quarter, it looked like Adams was about to take the lead as Matt Fisher appears to have a clear path to the end zone. But watch number 12, Eric Buchner here, as he manages to catch up and strip the ball away. The ball rolls into the end zone and is fallen on by number 72, Kevin Berry. And that was the boost that Rochester needed. Then Mike Van Dam's team went to work, completing this pass to number 85, Mickey Ott. And also here by handing off to number 12, Eric Buchner, who this year collected 1,238 yards, and with this play became Rochester's all-time rushing leader, breaking an old school record set back in 1949 of 1,209 yards for the season. The touchdown put Rochester up 21-14 with 7:10 left in the fourth quarter. Adams had enough time to mount a decent drive as Sanders manages to get the ball upfield here, and they kept getting the needed first downs. The Adams fans were already thinking of a touchdown. And on 4th and 3 with the ball on the 7, would Adams get enough yardage for the first down? They needed the measurement, and it was not enough. So the ball was turned over to Rochester with a minute left to play, and the Falcons let the time expire. Both coaches congratulate each other on a well-played game, and the final score from Rochester High School, the Adams Highlanders 14 and the Rochester Falcons 21. Joe, great excitement in the city of Rochester and Rochester Hills. And there we see the Metro Suburban Conference and where they stand. Rochester at 9-0 and Adams at 8-1. And we can look for both of these teams in the playoffs.
Well, Rochester for sure. Adams is one of those with one loss in their region, because they're in this region with Troy and with Dearborn-Fordson and Catholic Central that they're going to find out tomorrow. They're kind of sitting, waiting and wondering and praying that they're going to get in. Rochester knows they're in, and it's just one of those things. Last year, Southfield went 8-1 and Pontiac Northern went 8-1 in that region, and neither of them got in. It's just a weird region. But still a great season for both, and you got the league title out of that game, and you got the city bragging rights and everything else.
So the battle for the city of Rochester was won by the Falcons, but it still remains to be seen what the playoff picture will be for Adams. The score here at halftime in the battle for Troy, the Troy Colts 17 and the Athens Redhawks 6. And we'll be back with some halftime stats for you right after these messages. Stay with us. If you wish a video cassette of TCI Sports, the cost is $25. Send a check payable to TCI, along with your name, address, and the names of the teams that played in the game, to TCI Sports Videotapes, 4500 Delamere Boulevard, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Remember to tell us which game you wish to receive. And thank you for watching TCI Sports. The TCI Sports Game of the Week. We're at Troy High School, and it's halftime as the Troy Colts lead the Athens Redhawks 17-6 here at halftime. Let's take a look at how these two teams fared here in the first half.
Most of that passing yardage with Athens coming on that 71-yarder for the touchdown, and the rushing right there. You see Athens. They got the top running back, statistically in Oakland County, and Troy, like they've done to almost every running back, has shut him down. Possessions pretty much equal. Turnovers, though, killed Athens.
Okay, that's the story here at halftime. And the kickoff for the Troy Colts Beams, a low line drive kick taken by Smith at about the 10. Smith trying to break it outside past the 20 to the 30-yard line, and a good solid return for Smith.
Smith, the guy who scored the touchdown that gave them an early 6-0 lead. Since then, they've had an interception run back, a blocked punt that set up a field goal. They even fumbled it right at the end, which they just didn't have enough time to get it out. And,
Smith on the return, he really finds himself whatever room is out there, really.
It's been kind of a weird experience every time he's been back there trying to return a kick, whether it's been a questionable touchback or the ball bouncing around.
Yeah, really some strange things happening every time. Ball at about the 33, 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Red Hawks. And the handoff straight up the middle to Kohlenberg.
Fumble. Amos recovered it.
Fumble by the Red Hawks.
43 recovered it.
And Scott Amos with the recovery. And I'll tell you, it's been all Troy Colts in the last few minutes of play.
You know, I mentioned earlier that
there it is, right there.
All day you hear about Gould and Howell, and if you watch the game, you always see this 43 guy coming up with a big play. I remember him doing it against Catholic Central last year, and against Southfield last year, and this year he's been doing it against Hazel Park, and here again against Athens.
He's playing injured today. So great tribute to that guy to get in there and do the job he's doing. E.J. Howell on the carry, and he stopped for a loss.
Yeah, it was just, they got the linebackers in behind the linemen. And once again, this happened earlier, Gould can't block all 3 guys coming in. He's got to pick which one to block. The other 2 make the tackle.
Red Hawks have to come up big defensively right now. They can't afford to turn the ball over in their end of the field. And talking to Coach John Walker, that's what he said. Give the ball up this close to your end of the field, and it's almost certain that the Colts will score.
Great run by Howell.
Howell was hit mad hard. Let's take a look. Here's the play.
I hope we can see just how hard he's hit, only because it'll look great. His feet are just going to come out from under him right here.
That's it.
And what do you bet right now? They just called another running play to him, and he's cursing the coaches out.
3rd and 3. I formation. Gould being the up back. They haven't called his number in a while. Let's see. Gould will block. E.J. Howell gets it again, and he picks up the first down.
Well, they got the first down, and his head's probably still ringing from the hit before, but he's moving the ball, and now they're 20 yards away.
Ball at the 20, 1st and 10 for the Colts. And they smell another 6 points coming up here. Turnovers have been the story in the last few minutes of play, even in the first half, and now starting the second half here. Kipke on the handoff to Gould. Off tackle, bounces off one, and rumbles for about 5.
And just as you mentioned, we hadn't called his name in a while. They give it to him, keeps the defense honest, and gets 5 yards. One of the things I'm surprised we haven't seen is some play-action passes to Gould. Those have been pretty effective all year for them. Just real quick, short passes and let him get all the yardage after he gets it. Right now, they don't need it, though.
Yeah, we saw a play like that similar in the Kimball game, in which you weren't here, Joe, but he did. He rumbled for about 20, 30 yards after catching a short little pass. Hamus is in there to block, and a good block as he sets up E.J. Howell to break off for maybe about 2 or 3.
I thought he was going to take that all the way around the outside and have the angle to score. Instead, he cut up, and they're going to have about a 3rd down and 4. Here this time, toss sweep. He decides to cut it up the middle. Just runs into a sea of Red Hawks. Sea of Red Hawks, that doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a flock of Red Hawks.
A flock, yeah, that could work better.
Sea.
3rd and 3.
Would be the Seahawks.
And, yeah, big down here. Goldberg in motion. Hamus in there still at fullback, and breaks it open for Howell, who breaks across the 10 for the first down. Let's see where they mark it, though. They'll usually mark it back, and it's going to be very close.
Ref's already signaled 4th.
Yep, 4th. And inches, if that. Let's take a look. And
yeah, you're going to see him just how we're running like they've been doing. And yeah, it's just a matter of the ref's spot. And the ref looked like he did make the right spot, though. 4th and about a yard, you got to figure you're going to get it, and if you don't, you've got Athens pinned on their own 10.
Yeah, good spot. He was just short of the 10-yard line.
It's a good decision to go for it.
Power eye right. Watch for Howell. They give it to Howell. Howell.
Well, if he got it, if he got it, he barely got it.
Yeah.
But looking at the way they're spotting it, I think he does have a first down.
They're going to get a measurement here. Too close to call. They're going to measure. 8:14 left here in the third quarter. And the Troy Colts trying to capitalize on a turnover by the Redhawks on the very first possession.
Well, now the guy running the down box has already turned it over to a 1, but I guess that's because it's a first down for somebody. So he's working in advance. They are bringing out the chains. Oh.
The Redhawks stop them. So the Redhawks turn the ball over and they stop the Troy Colts deep in their own territory.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned before, I still agree with going for it. If you make the field goal, it's a 14-point lead. It's a 2-possession lead just like it is now. It doesn't do that much for you. If you miss the field goal, Athens gets it at the 20. By going for it and not getting it, Athens gets it at their 10. It just makes it a little tougher for them to run their complete offense.
And it's going to be tough to pass from here. Ball at the 10-yard line. You take some chances now. Stroyinski has been going to the air quite a bit in this game. And do you gamble and go here and maybe get stuck with a sack? Pro formation, they go with the run. And McDonald is stopped again. You got the leading rusher, the leading rusher at Oakland County, and they have stopped him cold here.
I'll tell you, I'm not surprised, though. I've seen Troy do that to a lot of great running backs. You know, over the last 3 or 4 years, they just always come up with the big defenses. You know, last year, I think they shut down Catholic Central. Had Fred Taylor, a great running back. They kept him in check. You know, whoever it is, they come up big against big running backs. I think you do gamble here. You throw.
Here you go, 2nd down and 10. Stroyinski on the handoff. And rumbling for a few yards is number 35, and that is Schiffer.
And it's going to be 3rd and about 4. That was a good play. But still, you're in a position where I think you're going to have to throw. This does give you more room, but now you've only got one passing attempt to go, whereas the 2nd and 10, you're going to shot to come back. Now you've got to make the pass work this time. Probably go back to those short outs that were working in the 2nd quarter early on.
And they were hitting Smith, number 32, so watch for the receivers. They've got 2 tight ends, though. Nobody really split out in a power eye or a power right, I should say.
Kohlenberg, probably.
And they will go to the air. Stroyinski trying to break it outside and brought down by Beams.
Well, I don't think if they had gone with a run, I don't think they were going to get it. That was just good defense by Troy.
And a punting down now for the Redhawks. Let's take a look at Stroyinski trying to do the rollout here, but being pressured.
That play action didn't really fool anybody either. You see the Troy players are in there on pursuit right from the get-go. I think they knew the pass was coming too.
Beams and McCall in there, providing the pressure there for the Colts.
Let's see if they try to block another punt. It doesn't look like they do not have the same formation they had when they had the punt block
Benson is out on the outside. Benson's the one who would block the punt. And this is a kick out to about the 50. It'll be Cook to take it. Cook trying to break it outside. And Garrett Gould just popped one of the Athens Redhawks, Mark Sessi, who was going to pursue Cook. And Garrett Gould made sure that he did not get involved in the play.
Oh, my. Look, another high snap on a punt. Great job to get that thing down.
Watch E.J. Howell lead the way, but then watch Gould come in from the right and flatten Mark Sessi.
Yeah, just look above him. Coming up right here. Boom. Oh.
Well, you could hear that up here, even though we're insulated up here, you could feel it up here. 5:43 left here in the third quarter. 17-6. The Troy Colts lead, and the refs talking on the sideline down there.
I just heard somebody get smacked. I was like, oh, you gotta hit that guy hard. Oh, man.
There you see Eric Cook trying to warm up on the sidelines.
Refs talking down there to number 35, Matt Schiffer. Yeah, we don't know what the problem is down there right now. Okay. Ref still trying to straighten something out, and no word. Nothing up here.
I can't imagine what it is that they're doing. Oh, it's whistles again in the stands that players think that the play's over. And, you know,
and that, like we mentioned, that's when players will get hurt. Some players will stop, some players will keep going, and that's where you get people injured.
Yeah, and it just affects the competitiveness of the game, too. It's totally unnecessary.
E.J. Howell breaks it off tackle for about 7 or 8 yards. And you know what? It might even be the band leader out there. I know somebody was just talking to one of the band leaders here. The band has a whistle on the sideline. Here's Howell breaking it outside. Seven yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 3.
You know, with the kind of offense that Troy runs, even though there's over 5 minutes left, they might be able to run the quarter out on this drive.
Gould and Hamus in the backfield along with Howell. Hamus with the carry, and he picks up the first down. Let's see. Yes, he does. So the Colts on the move now.
Yep, first down.
They pick up the first down. There's Hamus. Gary Griffith. Gary Griffith telling us that he's a little banged up, but he's still out there playing. And contributing greatly to this Colt cause here today. The Red Hawks started out playing high on their emotion and really carrying the play in the first quarter and part of the second, and then the Troy Colts' superiority finally took over and made things happen. E.J. Howell off tackle again, and another big gain for him.
EJ's starting to feel it a little bit too. He's kind of get the sense that somewhere along the line he's going to break one.
The Colts starting to put this one away now. This offensive drive eating up the clock. And Howell continuing to add to his totals. It's Gould and Howell in the backfield, Goldberg in the slot, and now he goes in motion. Hand off to Gould. Gould powers for the first down as he dives across the 25, inside the 25 to about the 23.
And you can just sense that they've got their offense clicking right now, and Athens is on its heels. And right now it doesn't matter who gets the ball for Troy. They just keep moving it, and that clock is running.
Clock winding down at 3:50 now here in the third quarter. Kipke has two receivers split and 2 men in the backfield. Gould, the up back. Kipke to throw out the short pattern to Goldberg, and Goldberg gets it, but only about 3 or 4 yards.
Well, that's the same as running on first down, and it keeps the defense a little more honest. You can see right before that play started, all their linebackers came up almost to the line of scrimmage, and you know, you've got to make them back off to give the running backs a little room.
4 yards on that one, and it's 2nd and 6. Goldberg again in the slot and again in motion. Kipke, the pitch out to Howell. He's got a lot of room out there if he could just turn the corner, and does inside the 10-yard line. E.J. Howell makes it 1st and goal from about the 9.
And he made good catch on this pitch too. Take a look at this. That was a good pitch. Got to him in time, but right here there's a block that Goldberg starts to make. I don't know. You probably can't. Actually, it's done by then. He started to make the block and realized it was going to be a clip and backed off and let Howell just try to beat him with his speed, which he did around in.
Gould comes off, and Hamus in there now. 1st and goal from about the 9. Hamus on the carry, and he pulls his way. Touchdown. A big touchdown for Hamus. Scott Hamus, the senior, gets in there. And the Troy Colts continue to add to their lead. Let's take a look, Joe.
Here, just a quick fullback dive. There he just bowls into him, pushes the defender back, stretches out. He's at the one right there, and really, according to the rules, that's not a touchdown because when his knee hit the ground, the ball's at the one. But in high school, they will always call that a touchdown. You know, the NFL only started to change that when they had instant replay and everyone realized what was going on. But Hamas deserves the touchdown just for being able to bull guys over. And, you know, Troy, just whoever they gave the ball to on that drive gained yards.
Yep. Nobody really stopped cold. Beams puts it through for the extra point, and it's 24-6. And there he is, Scott Hamas celebrating on the sideline with Jeremy Goldberg.
You know, you got to credit that starting line for Troy, just doing a great job. Cardi, Adkins, McKay, Williams, Skinzier, Sarr, Barnett, or Barrett. I mean, all these guys just opening up holes. That's how you're able to give it to whichever back you want to and keep gaining yards.
Yep. The key to a great offensive backfield is your offensive line, and eating up the clock for 2:41, 7 plays, 46 yards, and 2 minutes 41 seconds off the clock. Beams low line drive kick again, taken by Cool, Brian Cool. Finally down at about the 32-33 yard line.
You know, shorter kick that time. First time we haven't seen him go into the end zone, and I'm sure that Jeff Smith is happy about that. He didn't have to deal with that kickoff. Now I think you're going to see Athens not strictly go to the air, but it's going to be probably a 75-25% in favor of the pass.
Let's see how they started out here on 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. They go to the air. Stroyinski looking from behind. He's sacked.
Oh, incomplete pass.
Hit there by number 89, John McCall.
They're saying his arm was going forward. Ironically, though, Garrett Gould almost picked that off in midair. You're going to see it right here. He's looking downfield, and Whitehouse was trying to get open on the left side. Just wasn't able to shake the defender in time, so he had to look elsewhere. And right here, his arm's going forward. Good call. Gould, though, almost caught it anyway and would have had clear sailing to the end zone. As it is, it's just 2nd and 10 because it's not even a sack.
Incomplete pass. Let's take a look now. 2:14 left here in the third. 2nd and 10 for Stroyinski. Colts making their adjustments on the defensive line, and it opens it up. McDonald trying to cut it outside, and nothing there. Looked like he's had a couple of chances on the last 2 possessions where it looked like he might turn the corner, but the Colts are right there.
Yeah, they're not letting him break tackles. This time it's Hamas. Just kind of rolls off him, but keeps holding on to his feet, and right there trips him up. We saw Gould do the same thing in the first half. It's got to be getting a little frustrating for McDonald, but you know, as we saw last week, this guy is capable of breaking one at any time. If he can get past that last little shoestring tackle, who knows how far he can go.
3rd down, about 8 now. Fake the draw. Stroyinski going deep. He's got his man. Smith, no, just out of his reach.
Well, he had Whitehouse coming across the middle. Might have been better to go to him that time again, but going deep to Smith and just missed him, really. He had his man beat. And that is the way the wind's blowing. And the wind might have taken that.
Wind might have took it just a little bit, and that's all it took, see? Just out of the reach. So it brings up a 4th and 8 and a punting down. Schiller to punt. Back to receive Howell and Cook for the Colts. Brian Schiller getting pressure and almost blocking it that time was number 66 Bergeron. The ball finally downed at about the 31-yard line by Howell.
Well, yeah, Howell fumbled it at first. It went off his chest, and he had to dive on it before the Athens players got there. And fortunately for Troy, he did. Now, minute 19, obviously, unless a disaster happens, as you see this punt.
Let's take a look.
Troy's going to go.
66 Bergeron come in here.
Yeah, almost had their second punt block of the day. but he got it off. And you're going to see Howell just drop it. But now you're going to, unless there's a major disaster, Troy's going to take this lead into the fourth quarter. Right there, Howell did a great job of just covering it up.
First and 10 ball on the 30. Handoff Gould. Gould, sheer strength, just powers his way for about 8 yards.
And now you might go a little bit more to Gould. He hasn't carried it that much. So give him a couple carries. Try to rest Howell a little bit. Hang on to this lead. And I think if they score again, you're going to see most of these guys like Gould, Howell, Hamus, all those guys sit down because they got more games to play.
Yep. And they're heading into an undefeated season here as we wrap up the 1993 football season, the regular season. Goldberg in motion. Hamus and E.J. Howell in the backfield. Kipke throwing off balance, and he hits Sarah Cook on the sideline. So it'll be 3rd and 2 now.
Yeah, that was one, though, where if Kipke doesn't throw that away, it's going to be 3rd and 8.
Coming off number 2 there, Mark Ryan, wide receiver senior. 16 seconds left. Excuse me, Joe. Here in the 3rd.
So now either Hamus or Howell's going to take it and get the couple yards and get the first down.
And off Howell. There it is. And Howell picks up the first down off tackle. And our fortune teller, Joe Abramson, calls it.
Well, I think everybody here knew that was coming, and it's just a matter of can you stop it or not. They only need to get 2 yards. They haven't been able to keep him from gaining a yard or 2 at all today, except for a couple of plays. If you're Troy, that's the only call to make.
And that'll do it for the 3rd quarter. Gary Griffith looks on, and a smile as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. The Troy Colts with a lot to smile about as things turn their way.
One more quarter!
With a lot of turnovers and making things happen defensively, and they really picked up the offense as well when those defensive things started happening for them.
Yeah, they've taken advantage of some special teams plays. Howell's made the big runs when he's had to. He hasn't had any 50-yarders or anything like that, but he's gotten it on 3rd and 4. He gets the first down. Gould's made a couple of big plays, a couple of big blocks. Hamus came up with some fumble recovery. They've had an interception for a touchdown.
So if he's shooting through
a lot of great plays.
I'll come with my little center.
The Troy Colts sideline and trying to warm up along the sideline, the cheerleaders. And really one of the coldest days of the year so far. And you would figure that, this being the last game of the season.
When I was driving here, I actually saw people golfing.
Are you serious? Out on the golf course?
Yeah, I love golf as much as anybody, but give me a break.
No, those are the fanatics.
That's
on a day like today. That would hurt just hitting the ball, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's
the first play of the 4th quarter now here at Troy High School.
People paid to do that, too.
The handoff to Gould, and the Red Hawks defense stopping Gould for maybe a yard gain. And that's the first time they've been doing that, really, since the first half.
Yeah, but I don't think Troy's concerned. I think what they want right now is to mount a long drive, take 3 or 4 more minutes out of this quarter.
Here are the bundled up fans on the sideline.
Blankets, hot chocolate.
And frozen cookies, probably, because or probably Halloween candy. 2nd down and 8 now. Goldberg in motion for Kipke. He's got Howell and Gould in the backfield and tries to hit his receiver coming across and does. Mark Ryan for the first down. Ryan, good size.
I never thought they'd do that, but it worked. And got him another first down. And, as I was starting to say before, if they can take 3 or 4 more minutes off of this and score, they can put all the backup guys in, get them some experience for the playoffs, which I think they've been able to get them almost every game this year anyway. They've won by decisive margins quite a bit. But you can also just ensure that none of your key guys are going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm. Ryan, good size. We talk about 6'3", 175 senior receiver, and his first reception in this game. Howell off tackle. Gains about 3 or 4. Brought down by number 45, Kohlenberg.
Yeah, once again, it's just the same thing. It's getting real redundant. Just Troy running the ball right up the middle and gaining 4 yards a shot.
Trying to grind out some yardage and take off as much time as they can off the clock. 10:25 left in the game. And you hear the sounds down there of maybe Garrett Gould hitting somebody. Well, Jason Ellis there, our audio man down there, gets all the sounds from the line of scrimmage. Not to mention the whistle from the ref.
Or from the crowd.
A big crowd here. Let's take a look. Kipke on the...
Yeah, the crowd with whistles this time. And Kipke got nailed as he threw that one. And was fortunate not to have it intercepted. When you get hit as you're passing and the ball floats like that, that's when it just, you don't know where it's going. That's when guys pick it off. Now it's 3rd and 7. It's normally a passing situation. I think, though, you're going to run, and we just heard the Troy sideline asking if they want to try a field goal or not.
Let's take a look. Kipke calls the signals, drops back, has some room to run, but unloads downfield, complete, and a penalty flag down. Touchdown signal for the Troy Colts and Dan McCarty, but the flags are down. Let's see what happens.
And that flag was thrown right at the spot of the catch. I don't know, so somebody interfered. Now, whether it's offensive or defensive, I was watching real carefully. Kipke came close to the line of scrimmage when he threw it, but I don't think he crossed it. I think it's a legal pass, but the Troy receiver pushed off.
Okay, so it's offensive. Let's take a look and see if McCarty was the one to blame. That's where the flag was, and he was the only Colt player there.
Yeah, here, well, it might have been a pick, too. Let's take a look here. Well, that's not a pick, but I don't see him pushing. I think the other receiver might have pushed somebody. But
could be.
I don't know.
So that knocks the Colts.
That's a loss of down, too.
Yeah, loss of down and knocks him out of field goal range. So the question of field goal is answered there. And it's a punting down. E.J. Howland to punt. He'll be punting from about the 35-yard line. And this is blocked. Pressure getting in there and blocked by number 74. And that was Wickstant. Wickstant getting in there. Brent Wickstant, number 74 for Athens, blocking it.
And just as importantly for Athens, the ball went out of bounds, so the clock won't start until the play starts rather than on the setting down of the football. They've got to come up with a couple of big drives, a couple of big plays, actually. They don't have the time to be putting together drives.
And they can strike quickly. They do have Smith out there who's been open. They just haven't had the chance to get it to him. Stroyinski on the handoff and twisting and turning and picking up some good yardage, number 35, Schiffer.
That was just your typical fullback run. Just pound on guys, bounce off of them, get what you can. You see nothing fancy about this. He's just bouncing off tacklers, spinning a little bit, keeping his balance, and getting as much as he possibly can out of it. Turned out to be 9 yards.
Finally brought down by Benson in the defensive backfield. 2nd and a yard. Clock continues to roll at 9:15. And off again to the fullback. And again, twisting and turning, and a good second effort picks up the first down. Matt Schiffer again.
Yeah, good power effort, got a first down, but again, they don't have the time with the deficit they have to be doing this. They've got to score quick. You know, a long drive that takes 4 or 5 minutes is really going to hurt them.
Maybe they're trying to set up a pass here, go deep. They're trying to get everybody concentrating on that run and then go deep.
I'm surprised we have yet to see them try to get a pass to McDonald.
Yeah, at least get him open and use his ability in the open field. 1st and 10. Ball at the 46-yard line. Stroyinski to pass, feels the pressure by McCall, gets away now, and will pick up about 8 or 9 yards. Stroyinski feeling the pressure, doing a good job of even getting a gain on that one.
Yeah, great athletic ability on this play. He should have been sacked in the backfield, avoided this rush right here. Then he looked downfield and saw there was really no way to get a pass off. And suddenly made a couple moves and showed some speed that he wasn't supposed to have.
Yeah, good pickup and close to a first down. It'll be second and a short 2. Stroyinski handing off to Kohlenberg. Kohlenberg on a second effort is short.
Okay, it's going to be 3rd and 1. Troy seemed to know that was coming. Just before the snap, the whole defensive line shifted, and they were right where he came to. And it's going to be an interesting call here on 3rd and 1. Do you go with somebody like McDonald or Kohlenberg that might get you the yard, or do you go for the score? There's no guarantee you're going to gain a yard either.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. Power in the backfield. Power left with Sturm and of Kohlenberg, and they give it to McDonald, and he's sacked for a loss. Getting in there quickly was Hamas.
I think there was more confusion on the snap there that threw the timing off of that play.
Hamas and McKay getting in there, Joe. Let's take a look.
All right, man, it was pretty clean. The defense just got through so quickly, he never had a chance. That brings up a 4th down. They're giving him his forward progress, so it makes it 4th down and 2, but apparently they're going to punt.
They're going to punt it away. Schiller to punt into the wind, and nobody back to receive.
I don't think they believe they're punting.
Benson will go back to receive.
Yeah, they don't have their punt return team in, that's why.
And they fake it, and they stop him.
McDonald again, he got he didn't get it, but they did give him about 1.5 yards.
They gave him a gain from a line of scrimmage, but it wasn't enough for the first down. And the Troy Colts pick it up.
Yeah, I mean,
the Colts knew it was a fake because they didn't have anybody back to receive. And then Benson said, well, I'm going to just go back just in case they do.
Right. I mean, 4th and 2, you don't punt when you're down, in that situation. And obviously the fake didn't work because it didn't really fake anybody.
Ball just shy of the 45-yard line. Colts start their I formation. They go to Howell in the backfield, and he's hit initially in there by Schiffer. Schiffer getting the first penetration, but slowing down Howell, and then the rest of the defense followed.
And, for Troy, I don't think that's a big deal to them right now. It's just keep running the ball. If we can get first downs, we want them, obviously, but keep that clock going and get out of here without any injuries and get ready for next week.
Yep.
Athens, on the other hand, is going to come out real aggressive because probably, you're obviously not going to win the game now, but you still want to make one last statement if you can.
Yep. 2nd and 12. Kipke out in the flat to Howell. Howell gets back about 3 yards from the original line of scrimmage, so gain of about 4. And we've got a 3rd down and about 7 coming up.
Yeah, it goes as a running play, threw it behind him. And if Howell doesn't catch that, that would have been a fumble rather than an incomplete pass, but allows Howell to add to his rushing totals.
So just like a lateral, just like a pitchback, rather than a pass play. 5:05 left here in the 4th quarter, and the Troy Colts just trying to run things out here over the Red Hawks. 24-6 they lead. Gould and Howell in the backfield. Goldberg in the slot. Rolling out in the direction of Goldberg, but going deep and complete. And out of bounds, or rather down at about the 10-yard line, 15-yard line, excuse me, is David Cheek, number 82.
I don't think you can get more open than he was.
Yeah. Well, Goldberg was open initially right here, but then he ran into the coverage, and then Cheek was open deep.
Yeah, I mean, all he had to do was, Cheek's sitting there waving, and you can't see from there.
Yeah.
He was waving for so long, just waiting for Kipke to finish the rollout, and when he did, I mean, I'm sure Kipke's eyes lit up too, and he got it to him. Big play again for the Colts.
And they're down at the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Colts. Pro set with the receivers. Howell is the deep back, and Howell gets it. Howell past the line of scrimmage and out of bounds at about the 10. Gain of about 5.
And other than going out of bounds, I'm sure that Gary Griffith was real happy with that play. but still gains about 5 yards on that play, 2nd down and 5 at the 10-yard line, and that's E.J. Howell doing what he's been doing all day, all year, actually.
And the cold weather finally getting to the cheerleaders down there as they've got the earmuffs on, the gloves on, and the turtlenecks. And
Yeah, they probably wish he wouldn't go out of bounds either.
yeah.
Get the game over with here, guy.
4:26, clock stop there. Power I formation to the left. They go to the right, though. Kipke takes it himself, and a good pressure put on by the Red Hawks.
That play's never developed. He ran into Hamus in the backfield after the play action to Gould, and obviously they just mistimed where they were going.
Yeah, and not what Gary Griffith had in mind on that one.
No.
Clock now at about 4 minutes left in the contest. And the Troy Colts smelling another 6 points here, but it's 3rd and about 6. John Walker on the far side would like to make his statement, as you said, Joe, and stop this team right here. Maybe come up with a turnover.
Yeah, you know, you want your seniors to go out with, if they can't go out with a win, go out with one last, you know, stand or play or something to positive to go out on. And, you know, that's probably what they're looking at now. They don't want this score to be 31-6.
Well, Bubba and Pat take you to Almont, Michigan again for paintball. Tune in for that right after the game at 9 p.m. Saturday and Mondays after the game here, right here on TCI 63. Excitement of paintball. And then don't forget, next month it'll be out on the farm. So we have something similar to those earmuffs. We're wearing our headset.
Yeah. And
So that keeps our ears warm.
and being in this nice warm press box with a heater behind us
With
doesn't
the, yeah,
hurt, you know.
the heater for our feet. But we could actually use that heater for our feet. It's over
Yeah.
it's over on the other side. So it's not as warm as you think, folks.
But we are warmer than anybody that's outside, though.
Here we go. 3rd down and 6. With 3:56 left on the clock. Kipke! And there is that high note we talked about for the Red Hawks. Sacking Kipke for a big loss here on a 3rd and 6.
That was Kohlenberg, I believe, got through there, and he never had a chance. He had an open guy, and he couldn't even get the pass off.
I think his face mask is probably imprinted right now on Brian Kipke's chest. He came hard. The Troy Colts going for a field goal here from the 25-yard line, a 35 attempt, and it's no good.
Wide left.
Yeah, the Red Hawks will get it at the 20 now with 3:22 left in the game.
Now the Red Hawks will probably come out trying to throw, you know, now you know you're not going to win, so you do just go for the mounting of a scoring drive rather than the big play, probably. You just, you know, let's get in the end zone one more time. Troy, on the other hand, yeah, you don't want to give that up at the end. You want to play the game completely, hold them to less than 10 points. And I think Troy realizes, too, that they had a chance to really be in trouble early in this game, and they've got to correct those sort of things in the playoffs.
A reverse. And Smith is hit after gaining maybe a yard or two. A lot of confusion down there. Everybody's going in every direction. Let's take a look if we can pick it up.
Yeah, let's see. He fakes to pretty much everybody that's eligible on this play, I think. They're actually hands off.
They gave it to McDonald, and then they come back around the other way. So a double reverse, and the Colts pick it up.
And a play, after all we just talked about, gained 1 yard.
2nd down and 9 for the Red Hawks. They're trying to pull something else here out of their hat. Let's see what they come up with. Stroyanski, the draw. McDonald still can't break loose. 4 quarters, and the Troy Colts continue to stifle one of the best running backs in Oakland County.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for him. You know, we saw him have an amazing game last week.
And there you can see the number 60 there on the helmet that he is wearing.
Yeah, most of those Athens
Rochester
guys.
player.
Yeah, they see him. I mean, I think they know how, you know, you put yourselves in his shoes. You know, you've played 4 years of high school football. You're in the state playoffs, and the injuries got you out. And I kind of know how that feels a little, but not me personally, but I know people who do, and it's just deflating.
Stroyanski will take it himself. Nowhere to throw. and he'll go down. It'll be fourth down and a punting down here for the Redhawks, as they don't want to give anything up here with 1:42 and counting down.
Yeah, they just came in with the blitz. He didn't have any chance to get this off, and at that point he tried to run. That was a quick pass. That might have been a design quarterback draw. I'm not sure, but whatever it was, it didn't work, and he's got fourth down and stuff.
And punting into the wind, Schiller will be punting. Back to receive is Cook and Topher, number 32 on the far side. It looks like Cook will take it, and a fair catch called for at the 46-47 line. So Troy Colts here, probably with the last possession of the game coming up, 1 minute and 8 seconds left. The score 24-6. The Colts heading into their undefeated season here, their 9th victory of the season, and into the playoffs.
Howell, Gould, Amos, they're not going out for this series. And I don't think Kipke's going to either.
Yep.
Well, I guess Kipke is. You're going to have somebody in there with some experience just to ensure that you don't make any mistakes, but they've got pretty much all new guys in there other than that.
Yep. Jamie O'Brien, the fullback, and Eric Cook is the tailback. Cook will take it, and he runs right into a wall of Redhawks. It'll be 2nd and 10 coming up now for the Colts. Clock under a minute now at 55 seconds.
And now they're going to make another wholesale substitution, get everybody into this game.
So Kipke does come out now, and going in is number 8, Matt Benedix, excuse me. We saw Benedix in there against the Kimball Knights, and did a pretty good job of even getting in the end zone there with the second team.
Yeah, they kind of had their way with Kimball, didn't they?
Benedix on the handoff to the fullback, and nothing there that time for O'Brien.
That's probably the last play, because by the time this ball gets set, we'll be under, well, we are under 25 already, and the ball isn't set, so the play clock has not started. And if they don't want to run another play, they don't have to. Of course, these guys
these guys out there,
they want to run it. Yeah.
They're going to run one. And they want to hurry up and do it, too. The Troy Colts, the last play of the regular season, and the Redhawks stop them for a loss, and that'll do it. The Troy Colts, undefeated in 1993, 9-0, and head into the playoffs. The Redhawks go to 4-5 on the season, and Gary Griffith, the very happy coach right now, and just waiting to see who he'll play in the first round of the playoffs. John Walker talking to his team on a season that had 2 losses that you said, Joe, to 2 tough Rochester teams.
Yeah, nobody beat those guys, except Rochester beat Adams. But other than that, they were the class of their league. Athens was in the playoffs last year. Traditionally they're a good team. They're going to always be in the hunt, as will Troy, just the size of the schools and the quality of the coaches that they have. And it looked early like Athens jumped out to the lead. It looked like we were going to have a battle, and then just a few mistakes here and there. And as Troy tends to do with everybody, they get the lead, they get the momentum, and then they just kind of stuff you out.
And there it is, the final score here at Troy High School, 24-6 over the Redhawks, and the Colts undefeated this season, and 2 class teams out on the field shaking hands. We'll be back to wrap things up for you here at Troy High School right after these messages. Stay with us. If you wish a video cassette of TCI Sports, the cost is $25. Send a check payable to TCI, along with your name, address, and the names of the teams that played in the game, to TCI Sports Videotapes, 4500 Delamere Boulevard, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Remember to tell us which game you wish to receive. And thank you for watching TCI Sports. Dress for battle and join in the action as Pat and Bubba take you to Almont, Michigan to experience the game of paintball. You'll see firsthand what it's like on the paintball field as the guys narrate their way through the fierce battle. So for the best in pop music videos and all the paintball action, watch Roadshow Video.
Coming up next on TCI 63.
The TCI Game of the Week took you to Troy High School this week, and the Troy Colts, the winners of the Battle for Troy, 24-6 over the Athens Redhawks here at Troy High School. And we end the final game of the season here, and one of our cameramen, one of the casualties in this game, the cold weather finally getting to him. Some sleet is falling, and you can see that is the angle down on the field right now as we speak. We'll try to update you on his condition as we do our final stats here. Yards rushing for Athens, 61, 141 for Troy as they really chalked it up here in the second half. Yards passing, 120, and most of that was really in the 71-yard touchdown pass to Smith in the first half, and 105 yards for Troy. So a good balanced attack for the Troy Colts.
Yeah, and I don't think Athens got any passing yards in the second half.
Probably not.
And 4 turnovers just killed them. And, right before halftime, there was the blocked punt. And every time it seemed like they might get something going, it just, something happened to kill it.
Yeah.
And, they made the one big play, had a 6-0 lead, and you got to remember, right before then, they were on the 1-yard line and about to score before they fumbled again, and then suddenly Troy just took over and overpowered them, and that kind of ended the game right there.
Yeah, you saw the hard-working statistics there. Kelvin Calhoun providing those for us. I just want to give him some credit. He's been doing a fine job all year. Here we'll have the scoring by quarters, and you can see a deadlock in the first quarter. Second quarter, things opened up for the Troy Colts towards the end as the Colts took a 7-6 lead, and then from then on never looked back as they scored 7 in the third and wrapped it up 24-6 final. And, that'll do it for our 1993 season. Roadshow videos coming up next here at 9 p.m. And don't forget to watch that Saturday and Monday. Look for some playoffs down the road, and then basketball season coming up in December. So, Joe, it's been fun working with you. I think we've lost our cameraman, folks, for the season.
He's worn out. He's so tired. I mean, he just had to take a rest at some point. Season's over. This is the time.
Yeah, and I'm glad we only have 9 games this season, because if we had one more...
Well, if you come here tomorrow, he'll still be there.
There are signs of life. He is moving. Anyway, the Troy Colts go on to the playoffs undefeated, 24-6 over the Redhawks. For Joe Abramson and our cameraman Mark Gomez and the rest of our hardworking staff all this season, thanks for tuning in all season long, and we'll see you coming up in the playoffs and basketball season coming up in the future. Good night, everybody.